Hey people, this is Conrad Layn here, hanging out with the Tesla. I want to teach you guys a way that we can actually grow your fleet fast. This knowledge I'm going to give you is unheard of and it's unfound, and you better take some notes. I'm going to share a deep secret that most hosts don't share and don't even know actually. So I've done it and I'm going to teach you my strategy. I'm going to give you my blueprint. So do your own due diligence. Don't just believe I'm just your friendly YouTube neighbor, but I'm going to actually show you how to actually, wait for it, get a 20 car fleet fast for Turo that you can add on right away. I'm gonna teach you a strategy so you get it really fast. So yeah, even if you have 0 cars or 1 car, I'm gonna teach you how to get a 20 car fleet fast. So take notes, whip out the pen, the pencil, the notepad, sticky notes, and take some notes. Don't let this fly by. I'm gonna leave a lot of links below. First step, let's dive right into it. Don't want to waste any more time. First step, and I'm gonna take you on a walk. I'm just hanging out. So first step, what you need to do is this. This is for people who have bad credit or good credit. Doesn't matter which way or where you stand in life. If you have a bad FICO score or a good FICO score or no FICO score, doesn't matter. This strategy is going to work for either or. I'm gonna start off with a more traditional route though first. So if you have a FICO score, meaning a credit score, and it's a good credit score or bad credit score. If you have a bad credit score, you usually still get loans and credit loans, but it's usually you have to pay a much higher interest and APR, unfortunately. And if you have a good credit score, typically you usually pay a lower APR. Pretty well said. We all know this already. It's nothing new, right? This is where it changes though. Bad credit or good credit. If you're able to get a loan, this is the goal, people. Always make sure to get your car loan ASAP. And as soon as you get it, you want to do this. There's something called GRM, gross rent multiplier. I'm gonna leave a link below where I do a deep explanation to GRM. Simply what it means is basically, for example, if the car's worth $10,000 and you pay off the car in 1 year, you have a GRM of 1. If you pay, say you make $5,000 this year, $5,000 next year, you have a GRM 2. If you make $3,300 this year, $3,300 next year, $3,300 the year after, then you have a GRM of 3, etc., etc. This is a term I use, as I am also real estate licensed. I'm insurance licensed as well, but I'm real estate licensed. And gross rent multiplier is a way that we value commercial properties typically. So I use this to actually purchase vehicles and I invest in them. So typically what you want to do is whatever the car is worth, this is how you know if you have a good car for Turo. You want to accrue your profit fast and quick. And this is how you grow your fleet to 20 cars and then etc., etc. So what you want to do first is once you actually purchase the car, right? You get a car loan. Let's say it's for $10,000, right? It could be $20,000, it could be $30,000. The same numbers apply, same percentages apply, but the concept fits in all. It doesn't matter if the car's worth $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $100,000, whatever the case is. Your car must accrue and make a GRM of 1. But GRM meaning, if your car's worth $10,000, right? You got to make $10,000 that year in 12 months. That's what you need to do. $10,000 in 1 year if the car's worth $10,000. And then you do this. You cut it in half. You hyperpay. That's typically, you have to pay a monthly payment. Say it's maybe $100 per month, $200 per month, whatever, for a $10,000 car. Of course, the higher the car worth, the more your payments will be. So that's why I said the numbers don't change. The numbers change, but the percentages and the concept doesn't. So let's say if your payments are $200 per month, whatever. You want to always compound and pay whatever you make that month. So every month you should be making, if you're financing traditionally, times 6. The reason why times 6 is a good number, and it could be lower, it could be higher. If it's higher, you're a superstar. But 6, typically, so for example, say you have a payment of $100. Your payment should be, you should be getting $600. And the reason that matters is that now you have the option to pay off the car fast if you want to, or what I'm going to recommend and what I do is I keep half whatever it makes. So if I have a car that's making, say, $600 per month and I have a $100 payment for example purposes, as I mentioned, based on the car, if the car is worth more, the payments will be higher, but so should your income be. So I'm just using a basic $10,000 figure. So if it's worth $10,000 and I pay $100 per month, I hyperpay. So I'll pay $300 per month and I'll keep the other $300 and I'll put that to side in my bank account so that now I can use that as an investment to invest in another vehicle. Just remember, this car is worth $10,000. So what you need to do is, the goal is getting your feet wet. Get that car loan, right? Get the car loan at ASAP. When you get the car loan ASAP, you'll have a car loan without any money out of pocket, and you want to negotiate not to pay anything out of pocket. If for some reason you can't negotiate, just get in the game. Get the car, pay your down payment, whatever. Okay, some people maybe can't negotiate well, whatever. But if you can't negotiate, not paying any down payment. I do it all the time. I don't pay any down payment. Second, or whatever, what you want to do, as soon as you put the car on the platform, all the money you make, you separate it. You separate. So if you have a $100 payment, right, you pay $300. So you're paying times 3. The reason why you're paying out times 3 is because you want to pay it off very fast. You want to exponentially and accelerate this process. And that's a big key to this. You must pay more than what they're asking. So if your payment is $200 per month, if it's $600 per month, if it's $1,000 per month, whatever for the car. Say you have a Lamborghini, it's $1,000 per month, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. If it's a C8, who cares? If it's a Lamborghini, if it's a Nissan, whatever. Whatever your payment is, you need to pay times 6 typically. So if you have a Lamborghini and say you're $1,000 per month, you should be paying $3,000 per month and keep the other $3,000 so you can invest in another car. Get what I'm saying? Because it's a Lamborghini and Ferrari. You have high payments, but you should be earning high income. High payments deserve a high income, and that's the first strategy. If you can put a car on there where you have a high payment but it has a very low income, run away. Do not get that car. Do not add it to the platform. Do not do that. High payments, low payments will typically grant lower income. But it works in a retrospect in a way where you can actually recoup very fast. So even if you had a $100 payment, you're earning $300. You're not earning that $6,000 that maybe that Lamborghini or Ferrari could earn per month. But it's still enough to cover whatever the cost of the value of the vehicle is. There's a lot of information. I'm trying to make it concise, but it's a very deep dive. So that's the first strategy. You got to make sure to actually do your best to actually get to the point where you can actually always earn at least 6 times the amount. That's your goal. And once you get 6 times the amount, you pay $300 or half of whatever that amount is to your payments. You're overpaying so you can pay off the car fast, so you own it fast. Now the remaining amount, if it's $300 left, you keep that, you save it, go on Tread. I'm gonna leave a link below, tred.com or Craigslist, or even a few car gurus or any site like that, or even a dealership. But I'm trying to send you in the direction of buying from a private seller. You usually get a better deal from a private seller. This is the thing though, is once you do that, you'll actually be able to save money to actually purchase another car. Now this is the second part of it. You already financed the car, you have the car. Now what you have to do is you have to actually buy a car outright. Sounds crazy, right? No financing. This can't be financed. You're gonna ruin the strategy. One financed car should be the most valuable car that can grant you a higher income to recoup its own keep. And so you pay it off fast, but it earns its own keep. So if it has a payment of $100, for example, you can make that $100 and still make an income or profit from that. And then use that profit to purchase an actual car. This other car, you get as low as you possibly can. You negotiate. You use, I'm gonna leave the links below, KBB. Google's your best friend. Find out what the car is worth. Negotiate. If the car is worth, say, and at this point you want to buy maybe a car that's cheaper at this point. So maybe buy that maybe $2,000, $3,000 car and everything. And the reason you want to do this is because now you can put it on Turo, but make sure it qualifies. Make sure it's in good condition. Get your Carfax. I'm gonna leave the link below. Get a Carfax to check the vehicle title history, etc. Make sure it's not in a safety recall or factory recall status, because if that's the case, you can't add it to Turo. That's bad stuff. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure, and then you buy the older vehicle. And the reason why you want to buy this used, typically lower valued vehicle, is because they actually have it can't depreciate much more. And now if something happens, if it's in an accident, you typically have nothing to worry about and you get your money back, and usually at a profit if you get it at a low enough discount, and it doesn't depreciate. Newer cars depreciate a lot faster than used cars. Fact. So you want to make sure to do that. So then what you do next is you actually get that car and you put it onto, say, Turo or even hire car. Just make sure you have it only on one platform. You can't circumvent the contracts. It's against Turo terms and policies. You can't do that where you add a car to Turo and then add to HireCar or some other platform. HireCar is a platform, I'll leave a link below as well, where you can actually rent your car, book your car to delivery drivers for like Postmates, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Lyft drivers, Uber Eats drivers, etc. It's similar to Turo, except that it's more for employment purposes, independent contracting purposes. They use it for Amazon Flex, etc. Turo is more about the experience, where they're using it for a trip and having fun. HireCar is more for earning income. That's what it's about. So what you do, you add it on a platform like this. It doesn't have to be these two, but most likely Turo. And then from that point, what you have to do is you add it on. And then now, since you own the car, remember you bought it outright, you're earning your keep now. So now you'll start earning an income. I have cars on HireCar. I don't never put them on Turo. They're completely separate because I understand the contract and I don't want to circumvent the contract. I love Turo, love the experience, and we're not allowed to do that. It's against the contract. So I'm not going to do it, and I haven't done that, and I keep them separate. But I make income from HireCar. I make income from Turo. Completely separate entities, completely separate vehicles, completely separate assets. Keep it separate, people. So that's what you have to do. Once the car is on HireCar, or if it's on Turo, doesn't matter, but it's an older car and usually costs a lot less, so you buy that $2,000, $3,000 car. Now, you actually, what you have to do at this point is, all that money is the old, you don't own a car loan for it. You use that and you hyperpay your own car, or you use that income to buy another car. So now remember, you're making this, there's no way you should get a car on Turo and only make your 1 month payment. Ridiculous. That's a waste of time. There's no profit in that. What about your insurance? What about your fees? What about the upkeep? You're in the negative then, even further than negative. If you have a car and say your payment's $200 per month and you're only making $200 per month, that's a problem. If you have a sick, nice, beautiful Lamborghini, say your payment's $1,000 per month and you're only making $1,000 per month or $1,500 per month, you're doing something wrong. You need to make a significant amount of profit, and with Turo, you actually can do this. Guess we'll pay the prices because it's the experience. So get confident. So the first thing you must do, people, the first thing you have to do is this. I'm gonna walk back to the residence. I'm gonna show you guys a beautiful koi pond. I come here just to think sometimes, but let me show this to you. It's actually connected to this really cool other piece of property. It's adjacent, so there's like a really cool school. There's like a private school. There's also mixed in with, it's a really unique piece of California where there's like a school, but there's also a residence and it's in a gated community. There's like a pond. It's pretty sick. But anyways, I'm gonna go over there and show you guys that while I explain this. But this is what it's about. So, okay. So again, once you do that, you get the first car on a HireCar or Turo that's used, and that's a lower value car. You get that car and now you're accruing profit fast. So now that car and everything, you keep that profit and everything. And remember, you're still making, I said, times 6. You should be able to do this. People look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, that's what you should make. If you're on Turo, even if you have a car that's worth $10,000 and you have a payment that's worth $100, you should be able to make $600 per month. Easy. If there's not, there's something wrong with your strategy. Turo is a great opportunity that actually allows you to make typically anywhere from 6 to 10 times the amount if you do it right. Like, so it's definitely possible. And please, that's the whole benefit of why Turo is so beneficial, because you can accrue amount of 6 times, typically 6 to 10 times. Sometimes even some people are earning up to 18 times. But that's two superstars. Let's keep it normal. You should be earning about 6 times whatever the amount that you have of your payment. That also goes for leases as well. And I'm gonna segue into that as well. This is very similar. Same with a lease. It's the same thing I said about the financing. You should make 6 times the payment. So if you have a lease payment of $200, for example, you should be making at minimum $1,200. Now the lease is a little different because since you don't own the asset, immediately you start saving that money so you can invest in another car. You buy that $2,000, $3,000 car and everything, and then you put it on HireCar and you rent it out because it's they typically are for older cars. Typically, you can put newer cars on there, but they actually go a lot older because it's more for delivery purposes and not about the experience. Once you do that, now you can actually get to the point where you're actually just chilling out and you're making money from HireCar or Turo with this older car that's maybe a 2014, 2012. Remember, HireCar, you can add a car as long as it's under 12 years old and under 130,000 miles. HireCars, they even go further than that. So the point is, the goal is buy used cars to pay off the newer cars. If you have a new 2020 or 2021, this is 2021 now, or 2022 vehicle, fine, get that car, finance it, either lease or buy finance to own, and use whatever you get from that. Make sure you earn 6 times whatever their payment is, and then pay half of whatever 6 times to hyperpay the amount, and then you're compounding now. And then from that point on, you actually just you're accelerating your payoff. And then from that acceleration, you can actually use that amount to actually, the remaining amount, the other half of the amount you accrue for that month, to purchase more used cars. You can't finance them. If you finance them, you're ruining the strategy. They have to be completely bought out. So that's where you use Craigslist, Tread, your neighborhood, go online, go to Google, go to Car Gurus, Auto Trader, etc. I'm leaving links below where you can buy cars outright for a discount. You got to do this. Once you do that, however, you're actually going to get to the point where now you have compounding assets. That's the trick. That's how you build a quick fleet. That's how I was able to acquire so many different cars. I mixed and used. I was able to get cars through credit, but then I was able to also finance and then also get cars that I own outright to pay off those cars hyper fast. And then at the same time, I'm acquiring new assets. I'm also tied another piece in this. You must have gap insurance. I highly recommend that. You don't have to do it. Get at your own risk. I recommend looking into getting gap insurance. The reason why is because, like we all know, typically when you purchase a new car or even a used car through financing, it loses a significant amount after you drive off the lot. As I mentioned earlier, the older the car typically, the less it depreciates. The newer it is, it depreciates and it's gone. You know. So what gap insurance does, in real estate, we have a term called being underwater. You get underwater, meaning that the value of the car, just like the value of a home, is less than what the loan. The value of the home is less than the loan, which is bad. So that means your car loan is, say, for $10,000, right? And as soon as you drive it off, it gets dropped down to $7,500. Now, unfortunately, if your car gets destroyed, you get paid up to $7,500, but you're still liable to pay $2,500 of a car you don't even own anymore. Terrible, terrible. Say you have a $100,000 car, same thing. Say, for example, you drive to the lot, it's worth $75,000 now. Something happens, it gets total loss, destroyed. Insurance will pay up to $75,000, but then you're left holding the bag with $25,000 you owe for a car you can't even drive anymore and can't even make income off of. Terrible situation to be in. Gap insurance solves this. I'm gonna leave another link below into me explaining about gap insurance. I did a video about maybe I think a month ago, and I explained about gap insurance and the value of it, people. So please consider and look into getting gap insurance. I left a video below. Plus I left a video below for GRM, teaching you guys how to actually earn income with GRM. Very important. So guard yourself to make this strategy work. That will give you peace of mind at night. So if your car gets destroyed, you have gap insurance, you're paid out, you're fine. We're fine. That's it. So that's the first steps. Get the car through financing if you have credit. Get through financing. Then once you get through financing, you always make at minimum 6 times the amount. That should be your gauge. 6 times. 6 times, so that now 6 times the pay. So say your payment's worth $200, right? You earn $1,200. If your payment is $400 and everything, you make $2,400 from the car. If your payment's $100, you make $600. You just multiply whatever your payment is times 6. That's the amount you should be making. Because now that gives you the option to hyper pay. So you pay down the interest, you pay down the car fast, you own it very, very fast. And then now you use the other half of whatever the amount you accrued to buy a car. Put on hire car, put on Turo, whatever platform you want. And now you're making a compounding pure profit for, that you can actually hyper pay off your car further, or you can buy other cars, which I highly recommend. That's how you keep building. You can just rinse and repeat. It's just a perpetual cycle. Perpetual, just in a circle, in a circle, in a circle. That's what perpetual means. Ongoing cycle, people. That's what it is. So you gotta finance the car, then use the finance car to actually pay itself off fast in an accelerated manner. Make at least 6 times the amount. That's the number for today, people. 6 times the amount. And then you keep the other half of that 6 times the amount to buy a car, to hyper pay it off even further, or to start buying assets. Because once you pay off the car, you're gonna pay off the car so fast, you'll pay that off within 1 or 2 years. Because times 6, I already did the math for it, it breaks it down and you pay off the interest in such a manner that you actually get the car paid off like usually in 1 or 2 years if you're financing. And I try to pay off cars in 1 to 2 years max, typically. 3 years, fine, but 1 to 2 years max. That's the secret here, people. It's deep math, deep psychology, deep financial understanding that I'm really trying to implement and show you guys, but it's so hard to explain. But I'm so, please rewatch this if you need to. I know it's a lot of information, and I'm trying to break it down, but it's so complicated and so simple at the same time. It's hard to actually be concise, but I'm doing my best to. So that's what you guys have to do. Next, if like I said, if it's a lease though, it's a bit different because you don't own the asset. So at this point, you always want to make 6 times whatever your lease payment is. If it's a $200 payment, make $1,200. If it's a $400 payment per month, you want to make at least $2,400. If it's a $100 lease payment, you want to make $600. Always 6 times. The same thing goes. Pay now with this, you pay only your payment though, because you don't own it anyway. You don't own it anyway, so you keep the other 5 and you can grow even faster. Because now, say you have a $200 payment, you earn $1,200 though, times 6, right? Now what you can do is pay your $200 and you have $1,000 left. And now you're compounding. So the $1,000, half of that should pay off some of your expenses, etc. And the other half and everything, use it to buy a car. Same strategy. You have a surplus amount of money. The times 6 works for lease, and it works for, this is still the same cars. So it doesn't matter if you have a Corvette that's a lease, or Corvette that's financing, or it doesn't matter if you have a Lamborghini or Ferrari that's finance or lease. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're in a situation where you actually have to have a Nissan or a Pinto or whatever car you have. If it's leased or financed, the point is, it's all about the compounding effect. The compounding effect is that you have to actually accrue enough income where it compounds. And once it compounds, you actually get into the point of paying off an accelerated payment. So if it's a lease, you just don't own the asset, but you're able to compound it. That's it. That's pretty much it, people. That's the secret. So use the lease, use the finance asset to hyperpay itself off. Use half of whatever the accrued income is for that, times 6, to actually purchase a car to put on another platform. But you have to own it. You can't be financed again because you're going more in debt. It's about hyperpaying off your debt fast. So you use that, and you start making money from one car, then you compound it, you're hyperpaying, and then once that car is paid off and everything, you buy another car, and then another car, and then another car. It can get a lot more complex than that, and I don't want to. I'm gonna keep it simple though. But that's basically the strategy that I've implemented and I've used time and time again, and why I've been able to build 20 cars and own them myself. And I'm one person, one human, myself, and I do it myself. You guys should do it too. That's not intended to be arrogant. You guys should do it just like me. You guys could probably even be better than me or whatever. I'm just the guy that's sharing the information, but there's someone out there that can use the information and probably even do better than me. So no hate. I wish you the best. Hope you can do better. Do your best. And I really do wish you the best. And in the meantime, look at these beautiful koi. Look at that. Kois. There's like so many kois. There's sometimes come here and listen to the ambience of this, the background. It's so beautiful. And gotta walk back to the property though. Like I said, it's an adjacent property, a lot of peace. And this is important too. When you think about math and making money, you gotta take time to look at nature, you know? But anyways, so that's pretty much how you actually get cars hyper fast, people. And gap insurance is very, very important because it'll give you peace of mind. If something happens to the vehicle, you want to make sure that you're taken care of properly. You don't want to get in a situation where you implement this strategy and then, unfortunately, it's part of business. Business is part of liability. Just like liability is part of business. It's part of the same family, one of the same. There is liability in business. So an accident will happen. So when it happens, you want to make sure that you're covered with insurance. So if you're financing a vehicle, for leasing it or owning it to finance, you don't want to be in a situation where you're liable because you don't have the proper insurance. Very important. Make sure you have the gap insurance in place. And then also when you get a lease, always make sure to get a long-term, if you're going to be using it for Turo, long-term lease. People don't know about this, unfortunately. Yes, leases, you can get them, but typically they're usually like 12,000, maybe 15,000 miles. You can get long-term leases, 18,000 miles, 24,000 miles. You just have to negotiate it. Sometimes it might change your payment, but it's worth saying because what you don't want to happen, you don't have a low lease and you're paying more for the lease now, you know what I mean? So ask for long-term leases. Ask for 24,000 miles. Ask for more if you can. Try and negotiate. Even maybe just try to ask. So you can do that. That's how you actually do it. That's how you build wealth fast. Use financing to get into the point where you can actually acquire a vehicle, no down payment, preferably. And if it is a down payment, cool, it happens. But at that point, what you need to do is simply get to the point where you actually put the down payment down and just get in the game. But I prefer you not to pay a down payment, but if you have to and you're in a situation you didn't negotiate right, or you just didn't have an opportunity for whatever reason, just get in the game though. Get the car on Turo, get your Carfax, leaving links below on how to get a Carfax, check the title, make sure there's no safety recall, and also just put the VIN number into Turo. Turo utilizes Carfax as well, and they'll also let you know if there's a safety recall. But also do your due diligence and use the title. Don't put a car on safety recall vehicle on there, unless that's your strategy. I did that for one. It's a bit time consuming. I did it fast, but the thing is I'm trying to help you exponentially grow your fleet fast, so you get from 0 cars to 20 cars fast, or from 1 car to 20 cars fast. Then you start building wealth. Then you start building a lot of money and income. So we need to do this fast. So that's what you guys need to do. That's how you get into it with credit. Now, if you have no credit or you have bad credit, there's actually a different approach. This approach is a little bit different. So what you guys have to do is do it this way. First and foremost, you have to make money then. That's the fact. If you can't get a loan, you can't get a car loan, and you have bad credit, you have to make money. That's the trick though. It's a little different. You don't have to get a crazy, sick Ferrari or Mercedes or expensive car that's even worth, say, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, or 10,000 even. You get a cheaper car. And what you do is you use the same tactics. Carfax, www.tred.com, tread.com, cargoods.com, Auto Trader, Craigslist. I do this myself. You buy the car outright. Yes, you don't have financing, right? You don't have financing. Okay, I understand that. But let's get you started. Fact is, you don't have good credit and they're not gonna give you credit. Fine. Don't let that stop you though. You just have to work harder to get your money quicker. You don't have the advantage of starting out with no money out of pocket like your counterparts that have great credit. Just how it is, people. So what you have to do is you purchase the property. You purchase the car. Something about real estate. You purchase the car outright. So if you have money in the bank account, great. If you have EDD unemployment, great. If you have unemployment insurance, if you need to get a job, if you need to do some DoorDash, DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, etc. Do what you got to do. Then do that. Get your money. So now, once you get the money, you don't have to get a lot of money. It could be like $3,000, $1,000, $1,200. There's a lot of used cars that are like from 2012, 2013 that you can make a significant amount on just by purchasing at a cheap, low rate. Especially since you have no credit. You don't have the advantage like the other people have to just start with no money or get a car that's really cool, or this Corvette maybe and it is financed out. You don't have that because you have bad credit or you have no credit. So what you have to do is you just get to the point where you buy a low price car for maybe $2,000, $3,000. Go to the links below, tread.com, and you figure it out. If you have it in your bank account, great. Or if you have a job, you put that money aside, you save it. Or you also sign up for the free Turo business loan that I'm also linking below. And then that's a way where you get 2 cars based on a loan that Turo gives to the Kiva. Turo has initiated to go through Initiative Seed program. I left the link below to get that loan. So that's really great for if you have good credit or bad credit. So for both of you guys. But the thing is this, you want to make sure that you use that program so you can purchase 2 cars. This loan gives you access to 2 cars so you can put on a platform. And if you don't qualify for that, and like you just really have bad credit, you just can't do it, you just have to save money. If you don't already have it, work a little bit, do some DoorDash, sign up, do some deliveries, get a bike even. A lot of times you get deliver on a bike, actual pedal bike. Save money. Work for a temp agency even. Temp agencies are pretty much agencies that hire people to work, and they allow you to simply work temporarily for different employers. That works. Just find a way to get some money. Unemployment, if you have some type of stipend, some type of welfare payment, if you have EDD money, if you have stimulus, EIDL, PUP loan, whatever you have, whatever money you got granted, use that to buy some cheap cars, especially since you don't have any, since you don't already have capital. Then use those cheap cars, you add them to Turo, add them to hire car, you buy them outright, and guess what? The same rule applies, times 6. Keep that number, times 6. And then once you make it times 6 or whatever, then you can actually buy another car, and another car, and another car, another car. But the cool thing is, even though you didn't have good credit, you actually start off ahead of even people with credit, because you start owning cars outright though. There's no debt actually. That's the key to this. So it doesn't matter if you have good credit, you get a head start at first. But if you have no credit or bad credit, go through the seed program that I left below, the Turo business loan that's below. And if that doesn't work out for you guys, then what you need to do is actually put some sweat equity in, earn some money, DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, work at a store for at least a month or two, save up $2,000 to $3,000. You just have to do that. You have to get in the game, people. You have to want it enough for yourself. I don't know how much more clear I need to make it. That's how you do it, people. And that's very important. I want to save whoever I can. I want to help whoever I can. I want to teach you guys. I'm not perfect. I'm a business consultant, real estate license, insurance license. Just want to teach you what I didn't know. So I mean, hope you guys enjoyed the content. Did my best to really explain and go all out to really explain deep strategy on how to acquire. And just do a quick recap now. If you have good credit or good enough credit, or you're able to get a car loan, do that. Get a car loan, right? Then once you get a car loan, you use that car to basically earn at least 6 times whatever the payment is, and you use half of whatever you earned, this was just 3 times, to hyper pay off the car. Now you have 3 payments left, right? 3 times the income left. Use that to buy a car. Save it until you have enough. Just how to, so for example, if you have a higher, so say if you have a $1,000 payment, right? And you make $6,000, right? So now $6,000, pretty much, you pay $3,000 to pay your $1,000. Now you're paying off times 3. You're accelerated and you're paying out less interest. Now you're compounding it. You're paying off really fast now. Now you own it. You own it faster. We still have this $3,000 left. Someone with that high amount, which the Turo hosts do that, and there are Turo hosts making that amount, have an easier chance of buying a car faster because they're making such a higher amount. But if you're on the lower side, say your payment's $100, at least make $600 at minimum. And if you make $600, you're not that same host that's making maybe $1,000. I mean, $6,000 per month. But you can still do the same thing. You just have to save a little bit longer. So you hyperpay still. Same rule applies. But what you have to do is you save $300 until you get to maybe 6 months. And it's $1,800. Now you can buy that car, but always get that Carfax and everything. Buy it at a discount. Use KBB to compare and contrast. Go on Car Gurus. Go on Google. Look at different prices of cars so you can negotiate with the seller. Try to buy from private sellers because the middleman's removed, and typically you're able to get a better deal. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Especially if you finance it or if you lease it. It's a little different now. Lease is cool because you just pay your pay. Make enough. Make 6 times the amount. So if you have a lease payment of $200, for example, keep it. Make sure you make at least $1,200 so you can cover the $200 and the other $1,000. Use it to save to buy another car. And you can buy cars cheap. They're 2012, 2013, 2014. Dude, don't believe me. Go online, do the research. It blows my mind how cheap cars actually are into what the comparison of what you can earn. It's beautiful. So please, people, I'm really trying to show you guys the way on how to do this. Don't take my word for it. Fine. But follow links below. Listen to some other videos. Go to tread.com, go to Carfax, go to Auto Checker, go to Car Gurus, all the sites I'm gonna leave below. And look, I'm telling the truth, you can find cars for really substantial, great prices. Crazy. So, and the goal is you always save the most when you negotiate at first. So always try to get the best deal you can, negotiate, know your prices so you can negotiate with the seller, and then that's how you compound. So it doesn't matter if you have good credit, bad credit, no credit, that you could still compound and build a fleet of 20 cars fast. And I'm only saying it because I built a fleet of 20 cars, and I want you guys to do it too. And now I'm working on getting 40 cars. Then I'm gonna go to 80 cars. My whole rules of doubles. So you guys can do this. Hope you guys are having a good day, a beautiful day. Thank you for hanging out with me, walking around. You guys are on my daily walk, just hanging out. So you guys about to chill out, probably get in the pool for a bit, and about to walk back over to the beauty Teslas. So let's have a good day, and please believe in yourself. You guys can do this. You guys got this, and we can make money and have fun and have freedom. Look, I have perfect freedom. You guys should do this too. Conrad out.